The penultimate issue of Two-Face's first series came out this week, and I have to say, I'll be sad to see it end. When it was originally announced alongside other 6-issue miniseries like The Question All Along the Watchtower and Challenges of the Unknown, I had assumed that it too was a 6-issue mini. But then writer Christian Ward took to social media last month to let us know that issue 6 would be the last issue. So perhaps the prospect of it becoming an ongoing series was on the table, much like how Poison Ivy's series started out as a miniseries and it's now almost 40 issues in, but the support just wasn't there. And it's a shame, because this series is really good. For those that haven't been reading along, and I have to assume that's most of you, shame. The series is about Harvey Dent's attempts at bringing some order to Gotham City's underworld. The interesting thing about this is that Dent had locked Bad Harvey, his evil side, up in a prison inside of his mind and was fully in control. But he was passing himself off as Two-Face to keep people afraid of him. Good Harvey, as he calls himself, desperately wants to go back to being a respected lawyer and planned to show the authorities the good work he had done in order to persuade them to let him back into their ranks. He established the White Church, a sort of court for supervillains and gangsters where they can resolve their disputes before resorting to violence. So far, he's defended Victor Zsasz against false accusations of murder, proved that King from the Royal Flush Gang had not committed infidelity, and rescued Scarface after he had been kidnapped by Baby Doll. But there was a secret shadowy figure that was trying to undo everything Dent had been working towards. The Shadow Hand, and his cronies Doubt, White Rabbit, Falseface, and Die. I was pretty familiar with the first 3 villains, but I had never come across Die and spent a very long time trying to research her. Time spent in vain, as it turns out, because she's an original creation for this series. She's a character who determines her actions through the roll of the dice, similar to how Two-Face determined his actions through a flip of the coin. However, unlike the two-headed coin, a pair of dice have 36 possible combinations, although in her case most of the possibilities seem pretty lethal. The significant thing here is that she identifies herself as the daughter of Bad Harvey, not Two-Face, not Harvey Dent, Bad Harvey. You might think that she was some sort of Two-Face fangirl, but when she meets Good Harvey, she can tell almost immediately that Bad Harvey isn't present, and she weeps for her missing father. In a way, she is the opposite of Lake Cantwell, Good Harvey's capable assistant, who he tellingly describes as the daughter he'd never had. As you'll remember from the last issue, Good Harvey asserted control, locking Bad Harvey away in a dark prison. But Bad Harvey has escaped, thanks to the help of his jailer. Good Harvey knows that Bad Harvey is free, but he has no idea where he's hiding in his mind, so he resorts to shackling himself up each night, sort of like someone suffering from lycanthropy. Note that Bad Harvey had been taking control of their body at night to operate as the Shadow Hand. Good Harvey can't risk Bad Harvey taking control again, so he hides away in chains, denying himself any sort of life. There's an ironic comparison to be made between the mental personification of Bad Harvey at the end of the last issue, wrapped in chains in the dark, and Good Harvey, literally bound in chains in a small room in the real world. He may be hiding away to ensure that the White Church succeeds without the Shadow Hand's interference, but he is paying the price. Fortunately, Lake Cantwell steps up to become Good Harvey's eyes and ears in the White Church, and with her support they're able to operate out of a far more glamorous, well-lit court. This issue has Cantwell prosecuting the Great White Shark for fraud, which he tries to pass off as a bad investment, fueled by his own insanity, the argument he made when he was first put on trial for fraud back in Arkham Asylum Living Hell, which resulted in his monstrous transformation. I don't want to suggest that Cantwell is Two-Face's puppet, because she's more than capable of handling things herself. But at the same time, Good Harvey is watching through security cameras, feeding her information. Even with Good Harvey's influence, she can take care of things herself. For instance, she uses the old throwed a load of decoy items at the villain whose decisions are determined by a physical item trick on Die, a trick that, until now, was only really useful when facing Two-Face. Die proves to be too much for both Cantwell and Gavel, both of whom take a bullet from her, which forces Good Harvey out of hiding. Despite Good Harvey and Lake Cantwell's efforts, the White Court barely survived Die's attack, and it's clear that Bad Harvey has left a number of contingency plans in place. Judge, Gavel, Cantwell and Harvey are all alive and mostly intact, but it's clear that Bad Harvey is too much for them. So Good Harvey calls in the big guns. Batman. Two-Face number 5 is available now from all good comic shops. If you are based in the UK and don't have a comic shop near you, then you might want to use my affiliate link with the UK's biggest comic retailer, Forbidden Planet. I have included a link in this video's description. Alternatively, if the idea of hoarding a collection of comic books fills you with dread, I am getting perilously close to filling our storage unit, you may want to try getting a digital copy of the issue from Amazon. I also have an affiliate link which you could use to help my channel out. I've included the Amazon affiliate link in the info button in the top right corner, as well as this video's description. To those that have read the issue, what do you think? Was the Great White Shark guilty of defrauding those gangsters, or is it really a symptom of his insanity? That feels like a deeply philosophical question about the nature of capitalism and the stock market. Is Di really Bad Harvey's daughter, or is she just some deranged fangirl? Will we see her again? And how do we think Batman is going to feel about the White Church? He's been known to allow certain criminals to operate in Gotham, so long as they kept things under control. See the Penguin. But is this a step too far? Hopefully we'll find out next time in the final issue. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And just before I wrap up, special thanks to all of my current channel members who help make these videos possible. Their names are listed on screen right now. Next time, I'll be back on Friday to talk about one of the very best Joker episodes of Batman the Animated Series, The Laughing Fish, and how it's a very worthy adaptation of 3 classic Joker comic book stories. And I'll also be back to talk about Absolute Superman number 6, which shows Superman's time in Smallville, and also uncovers the mysterious leader of the Lazarus Corp. Next Monday, I'm returning to the world of the Creature Commandos to talk about arguably the most tragic figure, Nina Mazursky, and how all she ever wanted out of life was to make friends. And also next week, I'll be talking about Absolute Batman number 7, which promises to introduce us to a very different version of Mr. Freeze. Scott Snyder's rewrite of Mr. Freeze's origin during the New 52 era wasn't very popular with fans, or at least it wasn't popular with me. But without the shackles of decades of continuity, I think he stands a good chance of winning us over with this bold new take. Hope to see you then.